Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world, talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. So there's actually quite a bit to talk about right now. And we're going to get to all that. We're going to talk a little bit about a former player. We're going to talk about some good news and some maybe not so good news and some brutal truth that we're going to talk about as far as the Raiders in their current state heading into the draft. Before we get started, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's a great way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support this channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video, which I always do appreciate. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? First thing we're going to talk about kind of leads into some of the offensive line issues that I think we may be running into. That, I mean, it may not have been an issue in our minds, but it's starting to creep up because the money gets in the way. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with these guys making money, but Colt Miller did not show up to voluntary practice. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do my workout at home, don't worry. It's like, no, he's holding out. Now, the fines are just absolutely insane if you hold out on mandatory stuff. So this is really the only time that players have a chance to kind of voice their displeasure with their contract situation without getting fined is on the voluntary workouts. Now, is it a good look? Is it a bad look? I mean, I don't think it's really anything. I think Colt Miller's been around long enough and proven the fact that he's, you know, a leader on the team, that he's, you know, I think they know that this is going to be a contract play here. All right. So main thing is Colt Miller was nowhere to be found during the team's voluntary workouts the past few weeks. Now he's starting left tackle on the team, and you know he's coming back from a little bit of injury, but he wants a contract extension. You take a look at his contract, and it's not all that great. He signed a $54 million extension in 2021. All he has left on it for this season is $12.2 million, and all of that is non-guaranteed. It doesn't you know, sit well with Colt Miller having a fully non-guaranteed contract heading into his last season, seeing as he had an injury-plagued 2024. If he gets injured, they can just cut him, and that's it. They don't owe him any money. So that's an issue. One thing that we need to take a look at here is, I mean, there was pretty much a tale of two seasons for Colt Miller last season. Now, the top offensive linemen, as far as dollar amounts go, you have like the Tristan Wirfs and the Penei Sewells, and those guys are like around $28 million a year. Colton Miller was making about 23 on average, and what's left over is 12.2. He's about, I think that right, he's like about 15th in the NFL, which is right around where he should be. Is he one of the elite left tackles in the NFL? I wouldn't say that. Is he a good one? Yeah, he's a good one, and we're going to get to that in a second. But ultimately, you got to take a look at it. If you're a GM, what is Spyitech going to do? Because John Spyitech had a recent interview where he was talking about similar situations without talking about Colton Miller specifically. He went on to say that extending guys like Maxx, Crosby, and stuff like that, that's on a case-by-case basis. Ultimately, you don't want to get a guy to go into his last year of his contract, because now he has more of the leverage as far as contract negotiations go, and he can go ahead and dip. But it is a case-by-case basis, according to John Spyitech. And sometimes he even said that sometimes it's even better for the player to go into free agency and see what his value is across the league, as opposed to just signing a contract because he feels like the contract he's being offered is one that is fair. It all depends, man. Like, if you're a Spyitech or a GM and you let a guy go into free agency, it better be a guy that you're okay with losing. Now, I'm not saying that you want to lose him or you're looking to lose the guy off your team, but if he does get a crazy offer from someone else, you're okay with letting him walk. Now, that happened quite a few times this last offseason. Robert Spillane and Trevon Merrick and Nate Hobbs, like those kind of guys all dipped because they got stupid money, right? They got crazy money to go elsewhere. And I don't think that the Raiders brass were really too hard up on losing those guys. I think they were okay. I mean, they would rather have them back, but not at the numbers that they were being offered. I think that's a very similar situation with Colton Miller. I think that Spyitech would rather have Miller back, but he doesn't want to overpay for a guy who's 29, going to be 30, especially when he had such a rough year last year. Now, let's take this into account. Okay, let's just look at this from a perspective of reality and fact. Overall, Colton Miller had an okay season. It wasn't great by any means. Now, there's kind of a tale of two halves of this, or two types of seasons. The first 5 games of the season, Colton Miller was really kind of coming back and trying to get right back. He didn't do a lot of the preseason work and stuff like that because he was still injured. Okay, so weeks 1 through 5, Colt Miller gave up 6 sacks, 14 pressures. That's 6.6% of the pass blocking. He gave up a pressure. He gave up 9 hurries, 4.2%, and 2 hits and 211 pass blocking plays. Okay, 6 sacks in the first 5 weeks. That's not good. Okay, weeks 6 through 18, he gave up 1 sack, 24 pressures, that's 4.8%, down almost 2 whole percentage points. 16 hurries, 3.2%, that's down 1% from the first 5 games. And only 4 hits allowed in the remaining 505 pass blocking snaps. So once he got healthier, he became the Colt Miller that we remembered. Now, is he back? I don't know. I tend to think so. But I wouldn't necessarily just let him walk, right? I would try to talk to him about a contract extension, right? I would say, look, man, we want to do an extension for you. This is what we're thinking. If it's not what Colton Miller is wanting or his people want, then let him go into free agency, right? And, offer him and say, whatever you get offered, just bring it back and see if we can get close. We want you to stick around. We don't want to insult you, right? But, if you want to go out there and you want to test the market and see how things are going, then go right ahead and test the market. I think that Colton Miller is going to go a similar route of the Spyitech, the Robert Spillanes and the Merricks and the Hobbs and Divine Diablos and those kind of guys. He's going to go out like that. It could be possible that we bring him back, like a Malcolm Kuntz. We brought him back, like an Adam Butler, brought him back, right? But we brought him back on good deals. If Colton Miller wants to play ball and stick around, he will. I think that, why would you get rid of a, still in his physical prime left tackle who's been a good left tackle for you for quite a few years if you don't have to? What you could do is you can draft a potential left tackle high and, shuffle the deck a little bit and groom him this season and, kind of see how he works after this year. And maybe you let Colton Miller walk because you got a better option in this year's draft. So, Colton Miller's turning 30 in September. This is going to be he's been a valuable starter for us. I'm not gonna down talk the guy. And you don't want to let a guy go. He's a quality starter. It would be silly just to let him go just because you want to. But ultimately, you don't get better by letting good players walk. All right, guys. Again, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Really from the bottom of my heart, man. We've been doing this all on our own. I think it was the 13th of January when I started putting this channel up, and we're already almost at 2,000 subs. And it's all because of you guys, man. I love Raider Nation. I bleed silver and black. And I want to make sure you guys know that I do all this for you guys, man. I don't just sit here and sit in front of this computer and this camera and just start talking because I want to hear myself talk. I really don't. I don't like hearing myself slur through these things either, okay? But yes, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's a great way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to help support this channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video, which, of course, I do appreciate. Also, turn on the notifications, man. That way you know whenever I drop a video or I'm going to go live, you'll know just like that. All right, guys, that's my time. I appreciate you. Till next time, everybody. Peace.